Hello Internet, I'm your only mate, and I am absolutely lost for words at the moment because as of the day I'm recording this channel has reached 2,000 subscribers, and I'm I'm honestly just blown away by that. When I started this channel, I honestly didn't think it would actually get this far, and the stuff that's happened throughout that, like becoming part of a podcast, uh, becoming infamous for wanting a particular death battle matchup, and all the friends that I've made throughout this, and hell, one of them is actually one of the guys that inspired me to start doing videos in the first place. I I absolutely cannot believe that, and I I'm sorry for stuttering so much, but just thank you just so much for clicking that subscribe button for whatever reason, whatever sort of reaction or crack or whatever it was that made you click that. Just like I said, lost for words. I don't really know exactly what to say other than just thank you. And I did want to do another milestone video, but I didn't want it to be just another Q&A or a video just music and a bunch of clips of other things I've done. So I decided I would do something new I haven't really done before as a test the waters thing. So here's the video I decided to do for 2,000 subscribers, and hope you like it. Yeah, still kind of sucks that Yang lost her arm. That would have come in handy in so many fights. Or would it? Hello everyone, I'm your only mate, and it's time for a little something new on this channel. Now, just for a little bit of explanation as to what exactly I'm doing, a while back I've been rewatching a lot of videos by Moscow X, and I highly recommend them, they're absolutely amazing, for his Dragon Ball What If videos, just discussing how things could have happened differently in the actual story, and there's so many good ones. Seriously, if you get the chance, do check them out, they are fantastic. And as I was watching them, I was thinking, perhaps, I don't know, I could do something like this, and I immediately, of course, turned to RWBY. So, I'm doing this as a test the water, see how it goes. And the first scenario I'm doing is, what if Yang didn't lose her arm? So just to give you an idea, just throughout these videos, I'm just gonna take little things in RWBY, perhaps discuss if they happened a little differently, how would that impact the rest of the story. So in this scenario, Adam doesn't cut off Yang's arm in Volume 3, so let's see how that would have impacted everything. Of course, we start off with in Volume 3 when Yang sees Blake getting stabbed. She then yells at Adam, get away from her, jumps at him, but this time, instead of, slice, he just pulls off her maneuver and has her smash her head against the ground, knocking her out. We then have Adam going up to Yang, about to finish her off. Blake uses her shadow clone to distract Adam, get Yang to safety, along with, some medical attention that she needs. I mean, does still have a hole in her stomach. And everything else in Volume 3 plays out as normal. Penny, Pura, Torchwick, they're still dead, and RWBY uses her silver ice for the first time. Fast forward to when RWBY wakes up. She has her talks with Tai and Crow, then is her talk with Yang, who is still not exactly great after the fall of Beacon, but not as bad as in the original. Well, obviously. So Yang does tell RWBY just a little bit more of what happened while she was unconscious. The Weiss was taken away to her family in Atlas, everyone's gone, but there is more detail to Blake running off. Wait, Blake still runs away? But Yang didn't lose her arm, she has no reason to! Okay, the reason why Blake ran away isn't solely to do with Yang losing her arm, it's because her past had come back to haunt her. and is hurting her friends, the ones that she loves. She blames herself for everything, so she just assumes that the best course of action is to keep herself away from them so that Adam doesn't target them, because, you know, her being around them. Seriously, if RWBY or Weiss had lost their arms instead, then, well, same thing would have happened. So in this instance, Blake is just telling Yang that she's sorry for everything that has happened. Yang doesn't really understand at this point, but Blake's trying to say, it's all my fault, the best thing I can do is leave, and Yang even tries to tell her, no, whatever is happening, we can work this out as a team. Blake just steps back, turns her head just with her eyes closed, saying, I'm sorry, and you can see a tear just coming down her face. At this point, Yang's just like, no, goes in for a hug, but her arms just go right through Blake, because it was just a shadow clone. Blake's already gone. Of course, Sun still goes after Blake like in the original story so that he can to help her. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yang is heartbroken at this point. Her partner's gone. She doesn't entirely understand why. She's just so worried about her. She is still a little annoyed about Blake running off, but this time she's actually, you know, got a better idea as to why, so she's not as angry and doesn't not hold much against Blake. That anger then turns to just worry and concern, like, eventually. Also, Weiss and Blake's stories don't really change, like, from this point onwards, so yeah, they stay. There's no reason to go over them, so I'm just going to be focusing on what happens to Yang and RWBY. So we fast forward again to when RWBY is about to leave with the remnants of Team Juniper, only this time, Yang is going with them. So we have Yang joining Team Ranger. What would that new name be now I think about it? Tell you what, I do plan on doing a part 2 to this scenario, so in the comments, put down what you think Team Ranger plus Yang, what their new team name would be, how you pronounce it, and whichever one I either like the best or just is the highest rated, I'll use that name and give the commenter a shout out. Everyone's ready to set off to Mistral, but then Ty shows up like, what's going on here? RWBY and Yang are telling their dad why they have to get to Haven Academy, why it's so important, but he stops them, saying, I know. Ty's worried about his daughters, of course, but he's confident that they'll be okay as long as they're together. He tells them to keep each other safe, to always look out for one another, that he's so proud of them, and that he loves them. But mate, why would Ty just let them go like that? Well, if you remember in Volume 4, he did say that he would go after RWBY and try to get her to come home, but the reason he didn't is because he still had to look after Yang. However, he is aware of how good fighters both his daughters are and how well they work together, so he doesn't have that much to worry about this time. Like, he knows they'll keep each other safe, and he does have one extra plan, which I will get to in just a second. He shares a hug with his two daughters, and as they leave, they're just waving goodbye as they set off in the distance. After everyone's gone, Crow then shows up asking, what'd I miss? Ty fills him in and asks Crow to keep an eye on the kids just as Yang did in the original story. As for why Ty couldn't go too, well, someone's got to look after the house and take care of Zwei. We have the gang setting off on their quest to Haven Academy, and things turn out basically the same as you'd expect, but they have a slightly easier time fighting off Grimm and whatnot because Yang is there too. Plus, they would have Yang's bike there as well, just in case they need to get somewhere quick, which will be coming up later. Of course, Yang would still be haunted by Adam and the events at Beacon. She would still have her PTSD, but it wouldn't be as bad as in the original. I mean, hell, she would have her friends and her sister alongside her the entire time. So, I think it's safe to say in this instance that she'd be further along in, you know, getting through it. She'd still have her hand, like, shaking after every fight. I said she'd be further along, not rid of it. At least not yet. Along the way, I imagine they would have the occasional training session, because, I mean, they gotta be in good shape and, you know, ready to fight, just in case, you know, a surprise Grimm or something else happens. During one of these sessions, I imagine Ren would likely say to Yang, hey, I've noticed you do tend to rely a lot on your semblance in a fight. Yang, of course, is like, what's the difference between you guys using your semblances? And she talks to the others, and they mention, like, basically the same thing that Ty says in Volume 4, to an extent. So she works on that and becomes a better fighter, just like in the original story. Now we fast forward to the fight with Tyrion. He has a skirmish with everyone just here and there, does his creepy look with Jean, because for whatever reason he does interest him. Still hasn't been explained. Gets revealed that he's a Faunus, and that he is after RWBY to work for their goddess. Which of course everyone assumes is Cinder, but then it gets revealed, not yet, but he just says in her dreams. Now of course, like, everyone's not gonna let RWBY go without a fight, especially Yang, because this is her little sister after all. She's gonna put up one hell of a fight to protect her, so this would give Tyrion some trouble. However, sadly, he is still able to dodge a lot of Yang's attempts and proceeds to knock her out like Neo did in Volume 2. With Yang out of the way, he sets his sights on the rest, and, well, everything plays out as you'd expect. Until Crow shows up, saves his nieces and their friends, fights Tyrion, he gets poisoned, RWBY cuts off his tail, and he promptly leaves. This is the point where Yang would regain consciousness, see that Crow is there but injured, rush to his side, and see if he's okay. He looks at his nieces, says he's fine, but then asks, "What's your favourite fairy tale?" Crow sits the kids down at the campfire, like you'd expect, and tells them the exact same thing. The only difference here is that Yang is aware of Salem, the maidens, relics, all of that at that point. She's aware of everything a bit sooner. Also, it is worth pointing out that this time Yang is around when someone mentions RWBY's silver eyes. As far as I know, that hasn't really been explained to Weiss, Blake, and Yang yet in the actual series. At least as far as I'm aware, probably off-screen land. The next day, the group wake up and see that Crow has been poisoned. Uh-oh, they gotta act fast. Seeing as how they're literally in the home stretch at that point, to Mistral and to Haven Academy, I think it's safe to assume that they would send Yang ahead on her bike to get help and go back to them. Like, meet them halfway. But mate, why not have Yang go with Crow on her bike to get him help that much sooner? Well, did you see Crow in Volume 4? He wasn't really able to hold himself up very well. That coupled with, Yang having to try to keep him balanced and steer the bike, I think that would put them both in more danger than they were in already. So, yeah. Of course, at first, Yang is a bit reluctant to go with the group's plan because, she's worried about Crow. She doesn't want to leave his side. But eventually realizes that it's honestly one of the best things that they can do at this point. So she hops on her bike and sets off to find help. Of course, from this point, everything plays out basically as normal. Team Ranger get to that crossroad, they split up, and we get to the Necklavi fight. Now during this time, Yang has made it to Mistral, and she's got the airships to come and get everyone. They don't want to get attacked, so they're not going to sit down while that thing is still alive. So Yang does something absolutely epic. She leaps out of one of the ships, falls down, charges up a punch, and strikes the beast right in the back, sending it square on the floor, face planted on the ground, and it's just an awesome shot. Yang's in the fight with everyone, but the beast isn't done. They do the plan to restrain the beast. Ren still gets the finishing blow, as they do in the original. However, like I said, they still have Yang, so they'd have an easier time. With the Necklavi dead, all the ships land, everyone gets on board, and they set off to Mistral as they do in the original. So overall, things work out pretty well for them in this scenario. I mean, they just have an easier time and they get places sooner. So, Yang being there really helps. But let me know what you think of this. I do plan on doing a part 2. So, how will this impact Volume 5? In quite a way with one particular part. After I'm done with that, I do have at least one more what if in mind. Anyway, I think we've reached the end of the video. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Did you like this? Should I keep doing these? And just let me know what other thoughts you had. And as I say at the end of all my videos, here's my Tracer outro. Bye.
Hello loves, Tracer here. You've just watched a video by your only mate. Subscribe, like, comment and check out his other stuff. Cheers loves!